We welcome you to a matchup that we have been fortunate to showcase several times over the last few years on 9-Star and ISC. Simply put, two of the preeminent softball programs in the state of Indiana. Number 2, Roncalli, the two-time defending 4A champs, against a team that has, well, the state of Indiana 6 times on the outfield fence here at New Palestine High School. The Dragons check in at number 6 in 4A this week. Thanks for joining us on 9-Star and ISC. Alongside Jim Leisure, Greg Rakestraw with you. Jim, there are 11 college commitments in the two-team starting lineup combined. You won't find a better game in the state than this one today.
I would agree with you, Greg. And, again, a lot of factors go into the fact that we basically showcase these two teams every year, mainly because they're, the top 2 teams every year in their class. They're not far apart, maybe 10 miles tops. And like you said, lots of college athletes on the field.
Now let's point out, Sadie Eubanks gets the start tonight in the circle for New Pal. She has kind of been their number 2 pitcher. She's only really thrown 8 innings or so. Studi has been the number 1. She's also a track and field athlete, so she might be pulled in a different direction tonight. So it's a talented young pitcher, a freshman. But again, this is truly a murderer's row lineup for Roncalli. They literally have one player hitting under 400 in their starting 9 today.
Yeah, and again, a team batting average, and this is everybody, figured into it, of 449, and the first 3 kids for Roncalli all bat over 500. So a big test for the young lady there in the circle, and we'll see whether or not she can live up to it.
Lila Blackwell, the center fielder, will lead things off for Roncalli. She will play at Virginia Tech next year. She's batting .531, 6 runs batted in, and clearly you can tell by the infield alignment and her forward stance in the batter's box. Her design is to get the ball on the turf and fly down the first base line. Now, you've talked about the proximity of these two teams. They have also had great proximity in terms of being in the same sectional in each of the last 2 years. That is not the case now. New Pal has kind of rotated back north towards where they normally are in terms of their basketball sectional. Many familiar names in terms of the conference: Mount Vernon, Greenfield Central, Pendleton Heights immediately come to mind. If these two teams were to play again after today, it would be in a semi-state game, which is obviously very possible. Blackwell misses this one, and the count is 2-1.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that, you would think that after being in the same sectional for years, okay, we district the sectional, so maybe meet in the regionals. But you're right, just because of the way it shakes out, it's going to be in the semi-state if both of these two teams are successful.
Couldn't catch up with that one as Eubanks fires the high fastball, 2-2 the count. Yeah, baseball and now basketball have adopted what has been the common format in softball for a while, and that being a one-game regional. In baseball and basketball, those regionals are drawn. In softball, they are not. That is a situation where you know which sectional you're going to be playing against. Slapper, shortstop, fires over to first, and there's one away. That's Allie Blum that makes the play at first, or from shortstop over to the first baseman in Kate Hershey, and one away.
Really nice job by Blum here, getting rid of the ball quickly. And Blackwell, who's really fast, 24 stolen bases on the season for the Roncalli leadoff hitter. She's able to get it over there very quickly, and honestly, she's out by a long way. You got to get over there quick.
So here's Keller, the third baseman. She's batting .520. She has 11 runs batted in on the season. Keller, just a sophomore. That misses below the knees. 1-0 the count. By the way, Tony Greer is our home plate umpire today, and Roger Holder will handle all the activities on the base pass. I want to thank John Painter and our wonderful crew here at 9-Star. Happy to bring this showcase game to you on 9-Star and ISC. Another slapper, third baseman, quickly over to first, makes the play, and that is Paige Ernstus. So far, the left side of the infield for the challenge twice, and there's 2 down.
Yeah, Ernstus says anything you can do, I could do just as well. And again, you see that kind of half-swing bunt there, and got to get rid of it quickly. Set your feet, put it behind your ear, and fire it across.
So here is Abby Hoffman. Abby going to head to play at Marian University.
Team that's had a little bit of success this spring.
Just a team we're going to see a few more times on ISC as well. We're thrilled to be able to produce the regional that Marian will host a week from this Monday. So Marian, in fact, today starts their play in the Crossroads League tournament. But they already know they are hosting one of 10 regionals across the country in 2 weeks.
Really nice pitch there by Eubanks. Had a little bit of movement on it late. And I think it kind of at least froze Hoffman a little bit.
Hoffman batting .545. 4 home runs and 20 runs batted in. Ground ball, knocked down by Eubanks. Shortstop, though, still has time and got her by a step. It's only 1-6-3 put out on the out for the number 3 hitter, and 3 ground ball outs for the Royals of Roncalli. So with that, we'll see New Pal come to bat. Let's run you through the New Pal lineup, and then we will tell you about the star of this Roncalli team. Aglaya Rudd, Allie Blum, Alyssa Mumma batting 1, 2, 3. Paige Ernstens, all 4 of those hitters batting north of 400. Then it's Kayla Bain, Maddie Engel, Katie Hershey, Nyla Lewis, Sydney Oliver. Then rounds out the starting 9 for Ed Markham's squad at New Pal. As Roncalli is about to take to the field, you will see the top pitching recruit in the nation, let alone the state of Indiana, and that is Keegan Rothrock. Rothrock verbaled many years ago to play at the University of Florida, as you see Ed Markham on your screen. Rothrock's ERA, well, it's been microscopic ever since she set foot on campus. .23. Those 116 Ks, that is in 60 innings pitched so far this year. So she's basically averaging 2 strikeouts an inning. Rothrock 9-0 on the season. This Roncalli team, again, they have won each of the last 2 4A state championships. Absolutely blitzkrieged Harrison in the state final a year ago. And again, their path has started coming through here each of the last couple of years. That is not the case now. Roncalli remained in sectional number 11. Again, New Pal bumped to sectional number 9 when the postseason starts a couple of weeks from now.
I'm sitting there watching Rothrock warm up. Just look how effortless it appears. I mean, this ball is actually just absolutely screaming, and she doesn't even really look like she's really putting total effort in it.
Now, Rothrock has pitched a little bit less this year because she has dealt with some shin splints and some leg issues, so they have tried to save her up a little bit, but no way she's going to be missing this game for Roncalli.
Well, again, a lot of these ladies play, travel ball on common teams. They all know each other. They grow up playing against each other, and I'm sure that Keegan's saying, Coach, come on. I got to throw against New Pal.
Here's Aglaya Rudd. She's going to play at Purdue Fort Wayne next year. She is batting .622. 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in. She was struck out in a game a couple of weeks ago, and that is of note because she had not been struck out the entirety of this season before that and the entirety of her junior year last season.
Just insane when you think about it.
Rudd skies this one. Right fielder fighting the sun, fighting the wind, and couldn't make the play. So Rudd will get a second look. And again, it is a stiff breeze that is blowing out towards right or across the field as the winds kind of shift to some degree from the north and to the west. Not many games were played here locally on Monday, but those that were played around the state Monday and Tuesday have had a jet stream involved in those games. So the count to Rudd 1-1. Rudd sends this one towards right field. This one is off the base of the wall. Rudd rounding second, going to stop right there. Probably had 3, but she got behind that ball, got into that jet stream, and a leadoff double for New Pal.
That's exactly right, Greg. Again, she just went the other way with the thing, and I don't know if we'll get a shot of Coach Markham. I believe he was bringing her.
Yes.
And again, Aglaya just did not pick him up soon enough. But again, just balls up in the air, up in her eyes, really. And they're going to get a courtesy runner or a pinch runner here, I would assume, for Rudd.
Yeah, courtesy runner will be Jersey Gross. That's normally the modus operandi for the catcher. She gets on, and the way she scores runs is home runs, and she's had a few of those this year. But Rudd is New Pal's best hitter. And again, the idea is, we kind of jokingly called it the Kyle Schwarber theory when we were here a couple of weeks ago. Get your best hitter as many at-bats as possible. Put her in the top spot.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to get those extra at-bats if you're lucky in a 7-inning game. Sometimes, the 1, 2, and 3 hitters might get 4 looks, but if you score a few runs, they might get 5. And that's what you want to do.
So here is Allie Blum, the junior. Everyone is in here. And that one misses. 1-0 the count. Blum will play at the University of Kentucky in a couple of years. She's a junior. She's batting .413 with 6 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Fouled straight back.
Roncalli with 7 seniors in the defensive lineup, Greg. There's only 2 sophomores. The third baseman, Carly Keller, is a sophomore, and the right fielder, Natalie Summers, also a sophomore. So a veteran team defensively for this Royal Ball Club.
It's an interesting contrast in terms of, the assumption is for Roncalli is that there's a runner at second and nobody out. New Pal's thinking about playing small ball, and that's typically not what they do with Blum. Yet so many teams so rarely get runners in scoring position early against Rothrock. The defense is almost conditioned. Okay, we got to play in here because they're trying to move her around.
New Palestine actually only has 2 sacrifice bunts this year.
And Blum, again, second fastball that she hasn't missed by much. Count it 2-2. First 5 players in the lineup today for New Pal have already made college commitments. A couple of those are juniors. 6 of the 9 in total want to have their college choice spoken for a year or 2 from now. Swing and a miss. Rothrock did not give her anything in terms of off speed. It was everything fast. Blum had to gas on the rise ball and couldn't catch up to it, and there's one away.
Yeah, great shot of it there. Again, you saw the eyes of the hitter, and you saw that the pitch was, like you said, climbing just a bit. Really tough to catch up to.
So here's Alyssa Mumaw. Mumaw will play at Southern Indiana. That is next year. They are in their first Division I season this year. Alyssa with 3 home runs and 19 runs batted in and batting a crisp .409 on the campaign. And laid off the high fastball, 2-0 the count. Rothrock does not walk batters. Frankly, has the stuff where she doesn't have to. She can challenge hitters. She's only had 14 walks in 60 innings this year, so about once every 4 1/3 innings. But good job that time by Mumaw. She has the count in her favor at 3-0.
What a luxury to have, though, Greg. You mentioned how the fact that even if you do get behind, you can always just say, all right, that's it. I'm tired of trying to paint corners and hit tops of zones. Here it is. Hit it. Do the best you can.
Take sign all the way, and frankly, Rothrock missed that one hot. So that is a walk. Again, a rarity. And runners on first and second with 1 down. Here's Paige Ernstis. Paige is a junior, but she is verbal to play at Mississippi State. Paige hitting .405 with 3 home runs and 11 runs batted in. Cleanup hitter. Swing and a miss.
Just a little bit behind that pitch, so I think when you're facing somebody with the velocity of a Rothrock, you got to choke up, I think, just a little. Hitters hate to concede. They always want to stay, where they're at on the bat. But you got to understand, sometimes you're just facing somebody that's just a little too quick.
That one got the belt. I think right now Rothrock is trying to figure out, okay, where exactly is the top of the zone going to be? And I think she just located it. Count now at 0-2.
Yeah, so far, I've agreed with the calls that were called balls. I thought were up, and that one there was good enough.
Swing and a miss. Outside half fastball, and the next IHSAA batter to catch up with that one on Rothrock might be the first. 2 down.
The designated player, number 26.
Yeah, she does not seem to get rattled, Greg. Whether there's runners on or regardless of the count, she just is going to go back to the old heater and try to locate it a little bit, but chances are you're not going to get a bat on it.
So here's Kayla Bain. That does hit the top of the zone for a strike. So Bain kind of rotating into the lineup today. She's batting .235 with 2 runs batted in. Kayla's going to play at Mount St. Joseph on the far west side of Cincinnati, Division III level next year. Chased one that time. Did get a piece, but the count quickly at 0-2.
Well, tough spot for Bain here because, again, you're in an 0-2 hole and you're facing obviously very much above average pitcher here who has a lot of different pitches. You just got to try to get a bat on something.
The straight fastball. Bain got a piece of it, but right back on the catcher's mitt, and that is all. So, New Pal strands 2. Rothrock strikes out 3. Scoreless after 1 in New Pal on 9 Star and ISC.
We are really heavily involved in the community, so there are multiple different volunteer opportunities that we can go and do.
Volunteer time to share their time and talents with organizations that need not only monetary assistance, but just people's time to help those organizations grow and thrive.
9-Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Greg Rakestraw, Jim Leisure with you here on 9-Star and the ISC Sports Network. Our lone 9-Star production of the week, and we have saved a good one for you. Again, number 2, Roncalli, number 6, New Pal. And Jim, again, we had a chance to broadcast when these two teams played here twice 2 years ago, a Saturday morning game that was a packed house, and then a Tuesday night softball sectional semifinal game that was an equally packed house. Not as many fans here tonight, but that could be, the early start. That could be the chilly temperatures. More and more fans are making their way into the gate as we speak. Here's Emma Fagan.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of the early start. And, again, and then we got.
That's a fair ball. That hit the glove of the first baseman. Good job to get that back in quickly for New Pal. And it is a single. But if Hershey doesn't touch that, that might have turned into a foul ball. But again, you can't blame her. Instinctive reaction trying to make a catch. Fagan, an inside-out swing. It's a base hit, and Roncalli's got their first runner aboard.
Yeah, really nice job of hitting there. But start to say we actually, I think, got about a 5-minute early start on top of the fact that it's a 5:30 start. So parents still, like you said, standing in line out there. Not a huge line, but there was a handful of people out there waiting to get in.
Now, a lot of pitchers don't hit. Also, a lot of pitchers don't hit 488. Those statements are both true, and the second one applies to Keegan Rothrock, who's got 4 home runs and 22 runs batted in. I'm not sure if she will get the chance to swing the bat in the SEC. I don't know. But clearly she is talon the plate as well as inside of the circle. Off speed, good job by Eubanks to pull the string. And again, let's reference the fact that Sadie Eubanks pitching today is a freshman. There will be no freshman this year in the state that will face a lineup like this on a stage like this. And again, she has been the number 2 for Coach Markham this year. She and Kenna Tweedy have pitched about a combined 20 innings. Studi is north of 50 innings at this point. New Pal comes in 11-2. Roncalli 13-2-1 their record. Ground ball could be 2. Nope, shortstop couldn't pick it. They're going to get the runner all the way over to third. That one was hard hit by Rothrock, but looked like Blum had it lined up. Just couldn't keep it in the mitt. Now the first 2 runners are aboard here for Roncalli.
Yeah, they just the glove just not quite big enough. They're just not quite long enough. Good effort. And again, Coach David Locke, without question, bringing the runner from first to third. So going to create a first and third situation, and then they'll get a courtesy runner there for Rothrock as well.
Anna Dressman will come in to run in Rothrock's spot. So Lauren Marsacek will come to the plate for Roncalli. She'll play at Indiana State next year. Sycamore is having their best season in a long time in softball. Have you had the pleasure of doing a softball game yet?
I have not.
At Indiana State? I know you're heading over for baseball next week.
Yeah, done 3 or 4 baseball games. Have not done a softball game yet. Both teams, actually, both baseball and softball for the Sycamores, having great years.
That's in for a strike. I was over there last night, and folks, if you have not seen it, for you New Pal folks, one of your own made SportsCenter last night in the Indiana State baseball game. That'd be Keegan Watson. That's off the leg of Eubanks. Runner at third does not advance. That is a base hit. Eubanks doesn't seem rattled by it. They'll check on her to make sure she's fine. But another solid contact, and bases now loaded for Roncalli with nobody out.
Yeah, Paige Ernstens comes in here and just does a nice job and makes a good decision. You know, just don't throw the ball around. Let's don't risk errors when runners are on base. Coach Markham's going to go out there and talk to Eubanks here a little bit, but honestly, she looks like she's like, Coach, just go sit down.
I'll give her a couple of pitches to make sure that plant leg is okay.
3 balls in a row, though, that have all been hit very hard.
And again, when you talk about this Roncalli team, you are obviously going to talk about Rothrock. She has been such a star, and I don't think it's a hyperbolic statement to say that she might end up being the best softball player to come from the state of Indiana, period, end of sentence. But, again, their batting averages are insane. There you see David Lauk. In addition to being the head coach of the Roncalli program, he is the athletic director at Roncalli High School. Anne-Marie Meek, batting .368. She's the catcher. 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. She and Abby Willis up right behind her will both be teammates at the Division III level next year. They're going to play at Milliken over in Decatur, Illinois.
We'll give Hugh Banks credit for this. She's getting ahead. She's throwing strikes and trying to work the count in her favor.
Just missed the outside corner. Good pitch at 0-1. Just hooked a little bit off the plate. Immediately, Glayer Rudd just kind of said, hey, it was that low, and umpire nodded his head. So Rudd will file that away as to where to put that target next time.
Really nasty pitch, though. If she can locate that, that's going to be difficult to put in play.
Ground ball. Shortstop comes home first. And Rudd, no, she was pulled off the plate. Couldn't keep her foot down. On that short hop, couldn't stay on the plate. So a miscue there by New Pal gives Roncalli a 1-0 lead.
Well, you're going to see it here, a great angle of whether or not her foot is on the plate or not. And before she controlled the ball, it had come off.
So everybody's safe. 1-0 Roncalli. First 4 batters now have reached. And Willis sprays that one foul. Willis batting .421 with 7 runs batted in.
So credit the Royal hitters. I mean, again, for the 4th time now, the first pitch by Eubanks has been a strike. She's doing a nice job of getting ahead of the count. Royal hitters find a way to dig out of it.
Willis again lifts that one foul. And the count in the pitcher's favor now at 0-2. We've got fans deposited all the way around the facility. Seats down both the right and left field lines. Those on the berm, kind of behind our camera position that you're watching from in center field. There are a few theaters like this in high school softball around the state, and you and I are lucky that we get to do games from a couple of wonderful facilities on a regular basis, both here and Pendleton Heights.
Yeah, and there's obviously been some sectionals and regionals that have been played here, but again, look for that to continue because, like you said, of the setup.
Sectional will be here at New Pal coming up that week of May the 22nd. Pairings were announced on Sunday night. Count it 1 and 2.
Of course, you have the area up on the berm, which you've already alluded to, but you can see quite a few more people out there, a little standing room only, so to speak. Bring your own chair.
Lifted, center field. Center fielder backing up, makes the play. Runner will tag. Throw picked up by the pitcher. Runners from second and third tag. So a sacrifice fly. Give Willis an RBI, her 8th of the season. Dressman scores from third, and it's 2-0.
Well, does a nice job. Maddie Engel there just catches it. You know, I mean, she could have maybe been another step back to kind of come in. It wouldn't have mattered. There would have been no play at the plate. But nice job of just sitting down. Hard to play the ball and win like this, which is now kind of almost looks like it's shifted. Well, there it goes back to right field. It was coming back in toward the hitter's face a little bit.
Madeline Ane will come in and be the courtesy runner for Roncalli. So Meek can get the gear back on in the dugout for Roncalli. And now Natalie Summers will step to the plate. My partner referenced just a couple of sophomores in the lineup for Roncalli. She is one of them, the starting right fielder. Batting .409 with 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. Top of the lineup rolls back through. Out the next hitter. That grazes the outside corner for a strike.
I really like the way Eubanks is just getting after people here. There's obviously no intimidation. Now, again, a couple of these balls have been hit very, very hard. One of them even hit her, but she does not seem to be cowering down to anybody.
Yeah, as a freshman, she's ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You've got, even giving up 2 runs this inning, she has been impressive. Counted 0-2. This one, a rocket. That sends one of the coaches scampering down the first base line.
Speaking of Roncalli coaches, had the opportunity to say hello to Assistant coach Rick Burkhart. Rick, a old friend of mine from way, way back, came up to the booth and said hello.
Not only did he say hello, he is a viewer of our broadcast, which we appreciate. High hopper should score the run. They'll throw to second and get one. There's no way you're turning two there. So a well-placed ground ball by Summers makes it 3-0 Roncalli.
Yeah, ball just simply hit too high, and you're not going to get two, so go ahead and get the lead runner, give up the run. And now you got two down, so let's see if we can get out of this inning if you're New Pal.
Here's Blackwell. Ground ball to short her last time up. An infield playing in with Blackwell at the plate. Trying to bunt her way on. Did commit at that, so that is a strike. 0-1 the count. Seventh Roncalli player to the plate here in this inning.
Coach David Lauf does like to put runners in motion. I think they got 42 stolen bases. We'll see if they send somebody here.
Ground ball. Second baseman picks it, fires over to first, and the inning is over. But the first four batters all reach. The first three come around to score, and now it is a 3-0 Roncalli lead through 1.5. Jim, you a fan of barbecue?
Absolutely.
Then you need tomorrow or Friday or Saturday, get yourself to Smokin' Barrel Barbecue. It is literally just up US 52/Brookville Road from here in downtown New Pal. You see the website on your screen, smokin'-barrel-bbq.com. When they say the best barbecue in town, they mean it. My personal favorite, the turkey, the brisket, the banana pudding, the mac and cheese. Just order the whole menu. Again, smokin'-barrel-bbq.com has more information.
I would go now if you'd let me.
Well, I'd let you, but they're not open.
Oh, well.
They're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, if the McFarlands, if you knocked, and made enough money, they'd probably make you something right now.
I was going to say,
Right.
at least I'd be first in line for tomorrow.
I'll give CJ an email, and we'll see if we
Thank
can
you.
work something out for you. Here's a look at the IHSAA standings. And again, New Pal, right now the last of the Mohicans in terms of unbeaten teams. We think that game against Pendleton Heights next Thursday could easily be for the conference championship. Jim and I will be together again for that one in 8 days from Legends Field on 9 Star and ISC. Big game, though, is tomorrow night. Greenfield Central is here tomorrow night, so that's the next big test for Ed Markham's Dragons.
Yeah, they were able to get past a really good Shelbyville team. Shelbyville's been very good the last couple of years. Got that victory, but like you said, it's just one, no rest for the weary there. It's just one test after another.
Here's Matty Engel. Matty, the center fielder, batting .310, 4 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Rothrock offered the changeup, and Engel lays off of it. And the count 1-0. Although, actually, first base umpire says she went. So 0-1.
Yeah, really a late call there. And again, a lot of times the home plate umpire won't even ask if he's sure.
Engel chases that one. And the count now at 0-2.
I will say this, Rothrock has left a lot of pitches up, so if you're Coach Markham and the Dragons, you want to kind of make that point.
They'll ask. And no. Count at 1-2. What's interesting is that, so many times, when you have a dominant pitcher, your outfield will tend to play in.
Mm-hmm.
Here, because of the velocity that Rothrock provides, the outfield is playing way back. In other words, if contact's going to be made, ball is going to travel. Contact being made is the question as Engel swings and misses. And there's one away.
Yeah, I used to always tell my hitters, again, sometimes the pitcher will provide the velocity that you need to hit it out. So go ahead and choke up and make some, shorten the bat and make a shorter path to the ball. If you hit it, it will go, and it might go out of here, especially if you hit it to right field today.
Here's Katie Hershey, first baseman. Average has not been great, but home run pop has been. She has 4 of those so far this year. Katie, just a sophomore. And so the question is, can she get into one here? That's in for a strike. Nyla Lewis awaits on deck for the Dragons.
Nice movement. Again, that pitch was just on the inside corner, but by the time it crossed, it's really an inside pitch, but it was a strike. But if you hit that, you're just going to hit it right off your hands.
That one sails all the way to the backstop, and the count goes to 2-1.
Those are the types of ones when you hit them just above your hands where you either pop it up on the infield rather harmlessly or you just hit a little dribbler somewhere and oftentimes back to the pitcher. That's why movement is so important.
2 losses for Roncalli. They lost to Avon. He's got a really good team this year, 7-5. This one fouled back. Also suffered a loss in a tournament that Carmel had 2 weekends ago against Penn. That was the second game of the day, and I would imagine, and again the stats would bear this out, Rothrock didn't pitch in that game. They had beaten Tecumseh earlier in the day in that tournament. Count now 2-2. They also had a 3-3 tie early in the year with Columbus North. And if you're wondering, well, if Roncalli is number 2, who's number 1? The answer would be the Bulldogs. Number 1 in the state.
Sure, an argument could be made that they are 1.5. Right there, 1A and 1B.
Swing and a miss. Fouled off a couple, but couldn't catch up with that. That is now 4 consecutive strikeouts authored by Rothrock, and there's 2 down.
I just see the replay again, just could not catch up with it. The eyes were good. I mean, I always watch the hitter's eyes on those replays. The head was down, the eyes were good. It just, again, got blown past you a little bit. But I like the way both our hitters from both teams are battling up here, fouling off a bunch of pitches, hoping to see a mistake that they can drive.
Nyla Lewis batting .286 with a home run and 6 runs batted in. Nyla, a junior. First one goes by for a ball. Inside, 2-0.
After the last pitch, Anne-Marie Meek then kind of looked over at the coaches in the dugout and said it was up and then gave the kind of 1 inch there, up by a little bit.
Got the top of the belt that time for a strike, 2-1 the count. And let's face it, as much as this is an adjustment for hitters to see that sort of velocity, it's frankly an adjustment for the guy behind home plate too.
Without question.
You got to train yourself for one like this. Swing and a miss. Well, clearly, again, with the power Rothrock has, this makes perfect sense. But she is living at the belt and up. And now the question is, can you lay off enough if you're New Pal? No, I don't think you're going to do much damage with that ball above the belt. 2-2. That one dips in and same level of success. So all 6 outs for New Pal have been by way of a strikeout so far, and we are through 2. The Royals enjoying a 3-0 lead as you're watching on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network.
9 Star is very focused on customer and member care, focused on making sure that however we communicate with the member and customer is how they want to communicate.
You know, sometimes we're the one person that they speak to in a day, and you want that conversation to be happy and pleasant.
As a nonprofit co-op, we're focused on providing the best service we can for our members.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
So back to the top of the third we go. Roncalli will send 2, 3, and 4. Keller, Hoffman, and Fagan. The trio due up. The duo with you, yapping into microphones. Greg Rakestraw and Jim Leisure. And here is a look at the sectional hosted here by New Pal. And New Pal draws county and conference rival Mount Vernon in game number 1. Pendleton Heights and Greenfield Central will play on day number 2 of the tournament, which means that whomever wins those 2 games, again, you would likely consider to be the favorites to see each other in the sectional championship.
Of course, that New Pal Mount Vernon game, a rematch of a game we had on 9 Star, I don't know, 10 days ago, something like that.
That turned into a 6th inning run rule, correct?
But it was a closer game, and
you
know, don't let the score fool you.
Ground ball, foul ball. Carly Keller slapped one to the third baseman, and Ernstus. Outfield playing shallow and straight away here for the number 2 hitter. Sadie Hubanks getting the start today, the freshman for New Pal. Able to lay off of that one. Count goes to 1-1. Just missed. Tough pitch. Good take that time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good pitch. It was a good spot. Obviously, according to the umpire, just missed, and it was very close, so it probably did. All she's got to do is make a slight adjustment. Either move over a little bit on the pitching rubber or just adjust the release point.
And this one, lifted foul. And there's not exactly a lot of empty spots in the parking lot today. There's going to be a few softball imprints on cars today. Did you park in another part of the county as you normally do?
I normally do. I did, yeah. I took the trolley in from Mooresville.
You're somewhere off of Gem Road?
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Ground ball could be a tough one. Second baseman flips and got her. Well done. Keller was flying down the line, but exceedingly well done by Mumma to make the play. There's one down.
Yeah, really nicely done there. I thought maybe that Eubanks might have kind of broken to her left and maybe had a shot at that. And I agree with you, Greg. At this point, I thought, y'all are in trouble. But nice job. Good camera work as well.
Here's Hoffman. And Hoffman hit it off the glove of the pitcher. Blum had time to recover and fire over to first to end the bottom of the first. This one, Blum won't touch that one. This one's getting to the wall. Hoffman makes the turn, and that will be a stand-up double for the future Marion Knight. So first extra base hit for Roncalli. And now Fagan, who singled her last time up, will come to the plate.
Well, last time up, Hoffman got it into that 163, so basically hit the ball in a similar spot, but decided to hit it a little bit higher, a little bit harder, and no doubt, stand-up double.
So Fagan had the inside-out single on the right field line that Hershey got a glove on, but couldn't catch, and she would come around to score of those 3 runs last inning. On the off-speed, made contact, but couldn't keep it in play. As more and more folks continue to make their way in to the stadium here today.
Nice first pitch here, off-speed. I like it. Again, having a plan, man.
And frankly, neither pitcher has thrown that much off-speed in today's game, so good change of pace. One thing that Eubanks has to be aware of, and Rudd as well, when there is a runner at second, you see this much more in softball than you do baseball. Runner's going to signal, hey, this is where the pitch is going. So you're taking a look at Hoffman on the base paths. Last time she said, hey, this is going to be outside. Hasn't delivered a similar helper just yet this time around. Same place, better result, as that one was chased on by Fagan. The count goes 1-2. So something if you're the catcher you have to be cognizant of is there's somebody out there trying to help out the hitter.
Sure. And I'll tell you what, again, talking about pitches, off speed, different changes and things like that, give a lot of credit to Rudd because, she's the senior.
So count at 1-2. Ground ball, runner will advance. Good job by Mumma to fire over to first. Hirsch picks it out of the turf. And there's 2 away.
Yeah, again, especially, Katie Hershey there at the end kind of digging that thing out. That would have been disastrous if that ball gets away because it scores a run, probably ends up with another runner on second base. But right now you got 2 outs and a chance to get out of this thing.
So here's Rothrock, who hit it hard. Blum got a glove on it, but it careened off her glove out into center field. And Rothrock watches that one go by. And Rothrock 4 home runs, 22 runs batted in. 6 of the 9 players in the lineup for Roncalli have hit a home run in a game this season. 8 of the 9 in the lineup for New Pal have left the facility at some point in time this year. Swing, shortstop, and Blum was drifting over to the bag and all of a sudden pulled back and thought that Mumma would get it, and nobody did, and another miscue by New Pal leads to a 4th Roncalli run.
Yeah, just unfortunate for, Eubanks here. This thing, again, there's fly ball priorities on the infield. Shortstop overrules everybody. But if you're going to call it, and let everybody in Hancock County know, me. Second baseman gets out of the way. You can't kind of casually call it or kind of call it, or, but again, that's the shortstop. It doesn't matter what side of the bag it is you're on. And she's clearly on the second baseman's side of the bag. If you're going to call it, call it. And I think that's what Coach Markup's going to go out and do. And you saw him fist bump the pitcher and say, look, you're doing a great job. You ain't getting no help. And ladies, come on, man. This young lady's out here working hard, and we're playing, honestly, not New Palestine softball here. This is junior high softball with mistakes like that.
Dressman, by the way, is back in at first base, so Rothrock can focus on what she's doing in the circle. And the one thing that has rang true the last couple of years is that you do not need to be providing Roncalli free runs.
No.
Because usually 1 or 2 is enough for them to get the victory. And there has been some errors complicit in the temporary demise of New Pal at this point. So here's Marcicek. She's the young lady that hit the ball off the leg of Eubanks for an infield single.
So Sadie decides to throw the old changeup, say, here, hit that off my leg.
Counted 0-1. Fastball tails out of the zone, 1-1 the count.
I love it. I'm going to credit Rudd with a lot of it because she is the catcher who's calling him, and she's probably, got a little bit more varsity experience here. So, but still, you still got to throw the pitch, and it still has to be successful.
Got her to chase on that time at Eubanks. And there is so much that Eubanks is going to learn from this game and apply going forward. Count it 1-2. This one hopped to home plate. They'll have to throw to first. Hirsch does a good job of giving a target outside of the bag for Rudd to fire. That is the first strikeout by Eubanks, and the inning is over. But an unearned run scores for Roncalli, and we are now through 2.5, and it is a 4-0 advantage for the visitors. I want to thank our friends at ADP. You can spring into savings with not 3, but potentially 5 free months of all of ADP services for your small business. Simply mention this ad when you call Gervais. Number on your screen is 317-777-4283. ADP and ISC. It's streaming live, and it's free for 5. Call Arden today, 317-777-4283. So for New Pal, 9-1-2. Oliver, Rudd, and Blum, the trio do up. And again, it is Rudd that has the sole base hit, the double to start the game for the Dragons.
And Sydney Oliver, the 9-hitter for New Pal, is really a second leadoff batter. She bats .346, so we'll see what she can do.
There's a look at sectional number 11, and that is where New Pal had been the last couple of years, but not this year. Roncalli draws Tech in the opener. Winner gets Warren Central. Likely the best challenge for Roncalli will be Franklin Central, you would assume, in the sectional championship game. But there have been few that have been of the ilk of Roncalli over the course of the last couple of years.
Yeah, I would agree. I was looking on MaxPreps today, too. I saw where Roncalli has already played Franklin Central. They were able to win, I think, 7-0. But, again, 2 pretty good teams, and I would agree with you. I think those 2 teams are the class of that field.
Here's Oliver. She'll play at the University of Indianapolis next year. At the Division II level, they have their national rankings. UND's been 6th for most of the season. But more importantly, they have regional rankings. That determines where you are playing, whom you are playing, and your potential path to the Division II World Series. And the Greyhounds, number 1 in the Midwest region. Those rankings were released earlier this week. Oliver makes contact, but the left fielder was playing in, hasn't played perfectly. Drifting over to make the play is Hoffman, and there's 1 down.
Well, the first out so far of the ball game for New Palestine that did not come via the K.
Correct.
Yeah, I started to say before the pitch there that Oliver's not a typical 9-hitter, and Roncalli had all 4 infielders in and was also playing the outfield in as well. And I thought, you might regret this. She might hit something hard. It just missed hitting that one hard.
Rudd again makes contact. Right fielder coming in and fighting that Sunfield, able to make the play. That is Summers that is out in right to make the play, or I think that's actually Fagan that has been put out in right field instead of Summers. Either way, Rudd is retired this time after a double that direction last time up, and quickly 2 down. So here's Allie Blum. Able to lay off the high fastball this time.
Good job. Pitch right at the hands, and a lot of times hitters are going to have their hands just above or just at the top of the zone, so you realize, hey, pitches at my hands, I'll lay off.
Went right at the hands again. Now, obviously, Rothrock knows this is a great hitting team, and this is the second time around, so they're going to vary things up the second time through a lineup.
Well, the Roncalli catcher, Anne-Marie Meek, also a senior, so kind of been through the battles a little bit. And absolutely, however you got her out last time, you're going to change it up maybe just a little bit.
But he hit her. Or was it just simply ball that bounced away from the catcher? I thought that clipped her, but.
I'm going to get a great replay here. She actually just pulls the right knee back at the last second.
Gotcha.
Made it kind of a difficult ball to catch.
Right.
I think he hit the catcher. The umpires give a little professional courtesy here.
Count it 2-1. And Blum able to lay off that one. Count it 3-1.
Doing a really good job of just, again, ready to attack. We always tell kids, think fastball, adjust to anything off speed. She's ready to throw her hands, and she's got to get something a little closer to the zone.
Ball 4. So Blum works the second walk of the game issued by Rothrock. First base runner since the first inning for New Pal.
The second baseman, number 10, Alyssa Mumon.
And Mumon draw a walk her first time up, and she steps to the plate right now.
Blum is the leading base stealer for this Dragon Ball club, although I'd be stunned if Coach Markham put her in motion.
This one misses high.
And why would you, right? I mean, that's ball 5, basically, so.
Dialed that one down to Rothrock. She's been up, and frankly, it's been a kind of a mixture of New Pal batters able to lay off of that rise ball, that high fastball.
That one just catches the inside corner. Again, great movement, great camera angle there on the replay.
And Mumon able to lay off of it, count it 2-1.
Well, I love the battle here, Greg. Just two really good softball players here, and neither one of them wants to give in.
Outfield playing awfully deep, but understandably so, with the wind blowing out to right. That one misses low, and the count goes to 3-1. So Rothrock in danger of walking back-to-back batters. Ernstissa waits on deck if it gets to her. Took a little off of that one just to make it a little more tantalizing to Mumon. She swings through and misses. Runner now gets to start on the pitch. As the count's full.
Rothrock taking a lot of time here.
And time's going to be asked for and granted, yep.
Yeah, again, I just think it's gamesmanship. I mean, she got the pitch, and then she thought, I'm going to make her wait. And then it got to be one of those things where I'm going to make her wait until she steps out.
Strike, swing and a miss. So Rothrock now with 7 Ks in 3 innings pitched. Another 0 goes on the board for New Pal. Royals 4 and Dragons nothing. Back for the top of the 4th after this on 9 Star and ISC.
3, 2, 1.
As the first dunk in the building from Aaron Goya. Waits, Waddell finishes. And lays it in.
There is right now the play of the game.
Better finish. Good. We might see that on play situation. Great feed. The finish. Spin, win, 3. Bury it in the lane. No, gun, yes. Whoa, what a play. Flying in. look at our perch from behind home plate, this fantastic facility. As always, thank you to Al Cooper and the rest of the New Pal Athletics staff for the warm welcome that we get every time we are here. Next week, it's 2 games on 9-Star on ISC. Tuesday night, little baseball. If that's Mount Vernon and Greenfield, is that correct, that you've got on Tuesday night? Then on Thursday, you and I are back together for, there we go, Mount Vernon and Greenfield next Tuesday. John Herrick will be with you on that one. And Jim and I are back together again for Pendleton Heights and New Pal and softball. It's next Thursday, May the 11th at 5:30. We'll finish our regular season with Daleville and Shenandoah in baseball coming up on May 16th.
Yeah, you actually threw me a curve there, Greg. I couldn't remember. I've been married for 34 years. I do what I'm told.
Yep.
And so
on my
it's
emails
on
when I tell you where to be.
Yeah,
you gotcha.
It's on my schedule, man. I'll look at it. And
now, see, I would refer to your legal career as simply saying you follow the chain of command.
Yes.
2-0 the count. 7, 8, 9 coming up this time through for Roncalli. Meek had a fielder's choice that netted an RBI last time up. The run batted in. Her 9th of the season. The count at 2-1. This one foul. Count at 2-2. Roncalli off tomorrow. They'll play Lutheran. And Lutheran has been a traditional 1A power over the years. And if you don't know your South Side geography, about 1.5 miles away from Roncalli High School. Every year, in fact, I'll have the tennis pairing show coming up in about 10 days or so. And tennis is a one-class sport. Usually it's 4-team sectionals. So Roncalli, Franklin Central, Beech Grove, and Lutheran are all in the same tennis sectional. And it is the most compact sectional in any sport in the state of Indiana. You could easily walk to all of the 4 campuses and then go get yourself some lunch. Count is 2-2. Change up, knocked down. Third baseman still has time, but the throw is an errant one.
Sydney Oliver, the right fielder, does a nice job of backing that up. She took a fantastic angle. Once the ball was kind of bobbled down there by Ernstis, there was not much of a chance, but they had a chance, and unfortunately just not good enough.
So Meek, the catcher, will get a runner in for her. Once again, Ane will come in to be the courtesy runner.
Your attention, please. Courtesy running in first base.
As you see on the replay there, that ball just a little bit wide on the right field side of the bag there, and tough play there for Hershey. And
that's a difficult play from the length of throw. But again, because you're throwing against the catcher, probably an accurate throw gets the out there down the first base line.
I would agree with you there. I think that, again, once you bobble it, though, you have a tendency to say, oh, my gosh, I got to hurry.
You speed yourself up, yep.
And so you hurry, and then you make a throw that was just really off target.
So here's Willis. Willis, a sacrifice fly RBI to center field last time up. Just missed. 1-1 the count.
Good spot. A pitch that is given a lot of times at this level.
Roncalli with 3 in the second and 1 in the third. Good contact made, but this one sprayed foul.
A little half swing there. Used to tell my hitters, good swing or no swing. Don't do the little half thing. You might hit it, and then it'll only go to the second baseman. Swing. If you're going to swing, swing.
Ground ball, foul ball. Reference the fact that New Pal has got a busy week. They play host to Greenfield Central here tomorrow, and frankly, that is the next most important game. Always the next one, but that being the conference game. And Franklin is here on Friday, and then New Pal will head south to take on Jennings County in a doubleheader coming up on Saturday. Jennings County, always a solid program. Ground ball, another foul ball. We saw Jennings County get a 1-0 victory against Pendleton Heights back in the Horseshoe Classic on April the 8th. Count now at 1-2. Already the second trip through the lineup here for Roncalli. This one lifted center field, drifting over, able to make the play. No advance from the runner. That's Engel in center, and second time that Willis has lofted one her direction. One down.
And right before that pitch there, Aglaya Rudd, the catcher, turned around and asked the umpire, just want to make sure, hey, what's the count? Once that was confirmed, the decision was made to throw it looked like a little bit of an off-speed pitch, and like you said, relatively easy play by the center fielder.
Here's Summers. Ground ball and an RBI last time up. This one, well, hit atop the batting cage. 0-1 the count.
Yeah, again, the wind just howling out that direction. Once that ball was up, there was no chance really for anybody.
It's my third consecutive game or day with a game, and the game that I had on Monday, the field was flipped. Kind of this is the way it's supposed to be facing, is to the northeast. But obviously sometimes wherever you are, you kind of lay out the field where kind of how the property lines are drawn. Well, the field was facing southwest, and I've never seen high school outfielders playing so shallow as they were that day with a 40-mile-an-hour wind behind them. This one again sent foul, and it's 1-2.
You know, when you tell that story, Greg, I thought immediately of the way that Major League Baseball parks used to be laid out within city blocks in the old days. I mean, fields like, Fenway Park, obviously, hence the Green Monster. There was a road there.
Right.
There was a street, and they weren't going to close the street, so you just built a big wall. But a lot of stadiums were built that way within a city block. And, Ebbets Field and the Polo Grounds had weird dimensions all over the place.
Fouled straight back. Runner was going on that, so it's the first time we've seen a little movement on the base paths tonight, so let's file that away. The count is 1-2.
A little surprised because, again, coming into the ballgame, Coach Lopkin, his Lady Royals have stolen 41 bases, so I really thought we'd see more movement.
On a going nowhere this time again. Pitcher knocks it down, but unfortunately once she couldn't control that, that'll turn into an infield hit. We tend to give the pitcher a little more grace on plays like that because of the reactive nature.
Sure.
You can feel free to argue me on that if you'd like to.
No, and the thing of it is you're going to see it on the replay here. If she lets this ball go, it might have been a double play. Now,
right.
Again, instinctually, you're not going to do that.
Correct.
You're going to try to reach up and grab anything you can, and you coach your kids to get everything you can.
So here's Blackwell. And Blackwell has been recorded as an out twice. Infield plays in because of her ability. She turns on one, though. Right fielder charging in. Good arm in right field by Newpal to fire that one home. That was Sydney Oliver. So a base hit, and the bases are now loaded in Roncalli because of Rothrock's talent. Firmly in control at 4-0, but now a chance to blow this one wide open here in the top of the fourth.
Well, nothing you can do about it here. Again, you're going to see how she's up in the box. You got to pull your infield in, and then she just hits it really hard. A great job in right field by Oliver. Comes up throwing, throws a strike to Rudd. No chance for the run there.
Here's Keller, pair of ground balls today. This one lifted foul. Infield has to play in here because of the score scenario at 4-0. Keller does have 11 runs batted in this year. Ground ball maybe at any play other than second would come home here. Here's the ground ball to second. Throws over to second. They're not going to get Keller flying down the line and able to throw back to third, but able to step back on the bag with Summers. So Meek scores. That's the courtesy runner in Ane in Meek's spot that will score. Give Keller the RBI and the fielder's choice. It's Blackwell that's thrown out at second. And there's two down. So Roncalli now with runs in each of the last 3 innings and a 5-0 lead. And Hoffman a chance to further the distance, and she may do just that. That towards left field. That is at the base of the wall. Play at the plate. Throw. Not in time. Throw behind the second. Hoffman dives back. She's got back-to-back doubles. That one scores 2, and it's a touchdown lead for Roncalli.
I really thought that ball had a chance to get out of here, Greg, but it didn't, and just one hops. And, again, Coach David Luck never hesitated. Had the windmill going out there. 2 outs, runners just going on contact.
So give Hoffman her 21st and 22nd runs batted into the season. And the deficit continues to grow from the New Pal perspective as Fagan watches that one go by.
So a similar situation here, 2 outs, runner on second base, anything into the outfield, and Coach Lauk's going to wave him around and try to add to this lead.
Line drive and off the hands of Hershey. Again, Lauk gives the signal. Oliver throws in, not in time. It's 8-0. So that's the second time that Fagan has rifled one down the first base line. Give Fagan the RBI, her 18th of the year.
I will say this, Sydney Oliver does as good a job as anybody I've seen of really catching the ball in a great throwing position and just coming forward with all her momentum and just throwing absolute laser beams to the plate.
Rothrock skies this one, and that one is gone. Turning and looking up. Home run for Rothrock. It is now 10-0 Royals. Her 5th of the season. And Engel in center field took 2 steps and stopped moving. Yeah, you can do the Gator Chomp. You're going to play for Florida next year, young lady. Absolutely. Sends one big fly, and that is a number that is rarely on the board on the visiting side here in this building.
Just absolutely unloads on it. Does a nice job of keeping her weight back and just being balanced and throwing the barrel of the bat at the ball and finishing high with her hands. And that was about as textbook of hitting as you can probably get.
And we are now in run rule territory. Obviously not in this inning. We still have to play the full 5th. This New Pal team lost back-to-back games in mid-April. Coach Markham going to come out and have a conversation here before we go any further.
Coach did have somebody warming up earlier. I couldn't get a number on it. They're not warming up now, but could be somebody that's already on the field. We'll see.
Well, they are going to make a pitching change. And so going a little deeper into the bullpen here. I think that's Kalen Hurst that will come on here. Again, once you get past Studi, their pitching staff is very young this year for New Pal.
Well, and that's part of it. You know, that's part of building a program. You know, every now and then you got to kind of reload a little bit. And I think that was just a straight-up substitution, pitcher for pitcher.
So Hurst, a freshman. And Studi, the number 1 pitcher. But she is a 2-sport athlete here at New Pal, so both softball pitcher and track and field. And Hurst, Tweedy, and Sadie Eubanks, all freshmen.
So the future certainly looks bright, you know, in the circle for the Dragons. But right now you got to get out, get these roll hitters out.
Earlier 2 losses for New Pal, coming to Franklin Central and Hamilton Southeastern, 7-6 and 11-7. Coming into this game, New Pal had won their last 7, including smacking around then number 1 Center Grove last week, 10-0. In a game that Jim mentioned earlier, a big conference win against Shelbyville the next day, 6-4. Roncalli has now plated 6 in this inning.
Hurst quickly gets ahead here, 0-2.
And Hurst has not pitched at a varsity game this year.
Well, welcome to the big league, kid.
She is listed on both the JV and varsity roster.
Right.
And by the way, the JV teams are playing on the field adjacent to this one as we speak. Count now 1-2. Ground ball. Mumma charges. Hustling down the line, but makes the play. Mumma has been solid over at second base today. Roncalli bats around. 6 score. Rothrock leaves the building, and it's 10-0 in favor of the Royals here on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network. Jim, I'm not sure that the food at Smoke and Barrel Barbecue would make New Pal fans feel better about 10-0. but it'll make you feel better in general.
I was going to say it can't hurt. At this point, it can't hurt.
Smokin-barrel-bbq.com. They're located on Camp Sertoma. So when it says German Church Road, that's just turn right off of Brookville Road as you're going back in towards Indianapolis, then hang a quick left. The McFarlands do a great job with Smoke and Barrel Barbecue. They are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're certainly available for catering opportunities. Appreciate that graduation party you might have coming up. Smokin-barrel-bbq.com. We'll have more.
Well, New Pal with an opportunity here, bringing up 4, 5, and 6. Ernstis, Bain, and Engel, barring any substitutions by Coach Markham. But, again, at this point, you're probably not going to win the game, but you'd like to be able to reach Rothrock a little bit and get in her head a little bit if you do see her later in the year. At this point, that's about all you can hope for, I think.
And again, to put this in perspective, this is the number 6 team in the state that Roncalli has a 10-0 lead on.
Yeah. Very similar, again, to what you mentioned earlier, what New Pal did to Center Grove. I wasn't surprised necessarily that New Pal went down and beat Center Grove. I was a little bit surprised by the score.
Last year, New Pal went 23-4-1. 2 losses to Roncalli, 15-5 and 10-0. Ernstis puts a charge into this one. Ernstis off. Oh, got it. Cleared the wall. Home run. Oh, pulled one right back. Ernstis, her 4th home run of the season. And New Pal is on the board.
Going to love to see the replay on this one because, again, I really thought the ball was gone. I was actually kind of doing the circular hand motion that you see umpires do a lot, but it looks like maybe it just kind of ticked off the top of the fence down there.
So Ernstis with the solo blast to center field.
Something weird looking about the way that ball kind of got over, though.
Right, I agree. I think it hit off the top of the fence.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on that. Those are 2 young ladies that will see each other in the SEC in future years.
Yeah, we're going to get a great shot of it.
Nope, they cleared it. From our center field camera. Just past the batter's eye.
So Hurst gets an opportunity to bat here.
This is Bain, who pokes a hole in the clouds in this one. Second baseman comes in. Rothrock very casually just kind of assumed that, hey, one of these infielders is going to call me off, right? And eventually the second baseman did in Willis, and there's one down.
And you were right. Thanks for the correction. For some reason, I thought that was a 22. It was a 26.
So now here comes a pinch hitter in for New Pal. This is Reese Rosenbaum that will hit in this spot. This is Engel's spot in the lineup. And Rosenbaum has been a frequent player in the lineup. There's kind of 7 starters that know they're going to start every day, and usually there's a couple that kind of rotate for this group. Rosenbaum is batting .375. That's how good this New Pal team is. You can be a .375 hitter and not be guaranteed to be in the lineup every day.
Oh, you mentioned earlier between the 2 ball clubs, 11 college commits, and that's not counting the younger kids who most assuredly will commit eventually in a year or so.
And the crazy thing is, Jim, that's not counting everybody that he's even committed now. There's some kids that aren't playing in this game.
Right.
That are juniors or seniors that are going to play at some place. Those are just the ones that are starting today.
Correct.
Missed that one high.
Rosenbaum almost wanted to pull the trigger there, but then decided at the last second that's going to be a tough pitch to catch up to. See if I can get something a little bit lower.
Popped up. Let me make sure we doubled back to this. For Rothrock, that is the 3rd earned run she has allowed this season. That is the first home run she has allowed this season. Count it 1 and 2.
Well, and again, a couple years ago we did a Roncalli Pendleton game where the Arabians actually touched her up for a couple of home runs. So I mean, the velocity is there if you can get around on it.
So that was actually a game played last year, as that's in for a strikeout. So I can tell you a little backstory here. On that day, in early April last year, Keegan was actually homesick. There is a certain cutoff time that you have to get to school to be able to then play in an athletic contest that day. I think she made it by about 5 minutes, if I remember hearing the story properly. That was actually a game that was kind of thrown together very much at the last minute because Roncalli had some cancellations. And I want to say that game was like April 8th of last year. It was their season opener. It was one of those things where Rob Davis called David Locke like a night before, hey, you want to play? And hence it happened. This one lifted right center field. Center fielder diving in, couldn't make the play. That'll be a base hit as Hershey will reach. So third hit of the game for New Pal.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, almost word for word, Greg, how it came down is just Roncalli had a bunch of rainouts, had yet to play a ball game. It was earlier in the year. I think Pendleton had 4 or 5 games already in, and the two coaches being friends, and they called and said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And he's like, well, we're not doing anything. Well, we're not either.
So coming in, Ella Holman will be pinch hitting here in Nyla Lewis's spot.
Pitch hitting for the Dragons, number 28, Ella Holman.
So second pitch hitter of the inning here for Coach Markham's team. Yeah, both David Lauck and Rob Davis are both kind of anytime, anywhere, sort of coaches. They're going to play the best schedule you can go out and find. Swing and a miss. Of course, Roncalli is part of a conference, the Circle City Conference. They are 4-0 in league action so far, with one more to play. By the way, Holm at the plate, batting .357. This is her 11th appearance of the season. .357 translates to 5 for 14 for Ella, who is a junior. Strike 3 called. That is the end of the inning. So, Ernstus does something that few do. Hits a home run off of Keegan Rothrock. However, Roncalli still more than in control. It's 10-1 through 4 here on 9 Star and ISC.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 160,000 participants here in Indiana who take part in high school sports.
So 10-1, Roncalli has the lead going to the top of the 5th. Hurst is on for her first full inning of work. She retired the lone batter she faced in Marcichek. And she was in for another fellow freshman in Sadie Eubanks. Eubanks ends up getting charged with 10 runs. Not all those were earned. And again, I think she pitched well. And that's weird to say in a 10-1 game, but this is one of those days where, hey, you got a young kind of back half of your pitching staff. These are lessons learned that will pay off for this group well down the road.
I agree with you. It sounds silly to say, you give up 10 runs, but you pitch, but she did. She hit spots. She got ahead of hitters. Was not helped by her fielders tonight. It wasn't a 10-run game.
That hit the outside corner. Here's Anne-Marie Meek, the catcher. And we're no longer in run rule territory. And again, New Pal would get to bat in the bottom half of the inning. If Roncalli can get one here, then we'll have a different conversation as Meek sends that foul.
Coach Locke would love to see some production here from 7, 8, or 9, maybe 2 of them, maybe 7 and 9, and get the big hitters up and knock them around and get back into that 10-run rule territory that you talked about.
This one smacked right field. Oliver watches that hit the fence, and Meek, I think, wisely realizes, no, I need to get back here because Oliver's got a cannon in right, and that thing ricocheted off the fence so hard. Meek will stop at first. I'm sure she'll get a runner coming in for her services momentarily.
Well, we've already talked about it. Oliver does such a great job of just positioning herself and to make the throw. And again, if she had ran, she'd have been out. Really good job. Watch this by Oliver. Just picks it up in a throwing position. Throws an absolute rocket that was cut off, but had it not been cut off, probably would have one-hopped the second baseman.
As an alum, I am happy she is going to play at Baumgartner Field the next few years. That is the home of the University of Indianapolis softball team. Missy Frost has done a wonderful job with that program for many years. Here's Abby Willis. Willis, a pair of fly balls to center field. One of those was a sacrifice fly that gave her her 8th RBI this season. Rudd tried to frame that as best she could, but that was off the corner. The count goes to 1-1.
So if you're Abby Willis here, you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm seeing it well. I just got to get, my top end on it a little bit more and hit the ball a little more of a line drive and less of an uppercut swing. Sometimes as a hitter, if you're in a little bit of a slump and you're struggling, you're almost thinking, man, I don't even want to go up there. But she is making contact.
Kind of 3-1.
Good pitcher or good hitters count, really. Just 3 ones, to me, almost identical to 2-0. You're looking for your favorite pitch. You're going to bust it. If you don't get your favorite pitch, you're going to watch it.
Hurst does not look like a JV pitcher, does she?
No.
Again, it shows you the ridiculous level of talent that even a team in New Pal that's trailing by 9 has in the program.
Well, like I said, the future, of the circle there looks very, very bright. Unfortunately for Coach Markham, you got to get out of this inning.
That's a walk. And now Summers will step to the plate. And Roncalli may be a little more inclined to kind of play for one than you normally would in this scenario. Again, trying to get this into run rule territory.
Without question with the 9-hole here, and again, first and second, nobody out.
And Summers was swinging away.
Or take a big healthy cut, whatever is easiest for you.
Summers a single and a run scored last time up. Fielder's choice and an RBI before that, so 2 productive hitters or at bats from the 9-hole. And again, it is rare, but it shows you the talent level of the visitors today that your number 9 hitter is hitting .409 on the season.
Summers actually does have 1 sacrifice bunt of the 5 for this Royal team with 2 strikes. Obviously, the bunt is off. As she tries to wake up Lila Blackwell in the on-deck circle.
Blackwell singled last time up as well. Again, I knew they'd do it at least once. Royals have scored in each of the last 3 innings.
And Lila Blackwell saying, look, everyone knows I'm fast. I don't need you to hit the ball over here and force me to prove it. Stop doing that.
Ground ball smacked. Blum, great play. Go to third, get the lead runner. It's the easiest play you can make. So Ane is retired as an out, 6-5. Runners advance behind that, and there's 1 down.
And again, a nice, smart play there by Ernst not to throw the ball around. You are not going to get the runner at first, so don't risk it.
By the way, looking ahead for New Pal, 9-1-2 due up in the home half of the 5th.
Center fielder, number 2, Blackwell.
So Blackwell 1 for 3 today.
Rudd does a nice job blocking that ball in the dirt there, and runner at second base had the whole plate in front of her. That was Willis, and she wisely stayed where she was.
Blackwell got that past the third baseman. Now, left fielder playing in, so everybody just advances 60 feet. But that's back-to-back late base hits by Blackwell. Bases are loaded. And here is Keller. Got a ground ball, fielder's choice, RBI, and a run scored, all in 1 trip around the base paths last time up. Coach Markham now going to come out here. And again, I'm not sure this is a conversation about, pitching. I think this is maybe more about defensive alignment and things of that nature.
Yeah, what we're going to do with the ball. Again, sometimes you can assume that veteran players know what to do with the ball when it's hit to them, and then other times you can just go out there and remove all doubt and just tell them, if it's hit to you, you're doing this. If it's hit to you, you're doing that. In a sense, this is kind of a big at bat from a run rule standpoint, or just really blowing this thing wide open, or an opportunity for New Pal to just dig their heels in and refuse to go down.
And misses low, 1-0 the count. The RBI that Keller had her last time up, her 12th of the season. Left fielder hugging the line in case Keller goes the opposite way. 1-1 the count. And Hoffman, who's got a pair of doubles, is due up next.
Kind of did look like Keller was trying to go the other way, a little bit of an inside-out swing.
Mm-hmm. As lefties often do. This one foul. And after this week, 2 weeks of regular season play remaining in the softball season. Of course, the state finals will take place June 9th and 10th at Bittinger Stadium in Purdue. That's a facility that both these two schools are quite familiar with. And if you have never been up there, folks, it is an absolute palace. Count it 1-2. I'll admit that I enjoyed the proximity of being at Ben Davis. I thought for a high school facility, Ben Davis was tremendous. After setting foot at Purdue one time, I said, yeah, okay, now I get why we're having the state finals here. That place is just a gem. Line drive, caught. Runner was not prepared to tag from third. And I'm not sure with Engel playing so shallowly that there would have been, frankly, probably a good idea to stay at third on that scenario.
I would agree. This ball was absolutely tattooed, and great camera angle. It's coming right into your living room. And a nice job again. Had she gone, I think she probably would have been out. Maddie Engel out there in center field.
Here's Hoffman. Pair of doubles. Last 2 times up, pair of runs scored. And RBI 21 and 22 on the season.
Of course, with 2 outs now, again, running on contact, anything to the outfield, we're going to try to score 2, maybe 3.
And the count now 0-2. Hurst trying to put a 0 on the board for Roncalli for the first time since the first inning when the Royals sent just 3 to the plate. Swing and a miss. Got her. That is the end of the inning. So the bases are loaded, and this one will at least get to the 6th. The New Pal trying to carve out a few more runs of what is a 9-run deficit. Good-looking changeup that time thrown by Hurst.
Out of the 5th, no runs on 2 hits, 3 left on base.
Well, and again, in a weird way, Hurst had a pretty good inning there. I mean, I know there was runners everywhere, and it seemed like it was, dire straits at times. But for a freshman pitcher, she actually did a pretty good job throughout that inning.
So for New Pal, Oliver, Rudd, and Blum, the trio of players due up this time through. Rothrock will be due up for a 5th inning in the field of play.
You already mentioned this earlier, but Sydney Oliver, not your typical 9-hole either. Again, kind of a extra leadoff hitter. Going to try to get things started for Coach Markham's crew, see if they can't scratch back a couple crooked numbers here.
9 strikeouts for Rothrock through 17 batters faced so far. And Ernstus a home run in the bottom half of the 4th. That has kept this out of run rule territory so far. And just the 3rd earned run that Rothrock has allowed all year.
Minor Dragon fans, next home game is tomorrow. It's against Greenfield Central. First pitch, 5:30. Tickets are available at eventlink.com or newpalestineathletics.com.
So Rothrock is ready. And Oliver, who flew out to left, will step to the plate.
Leading off the Dragons, the right fielder, number 20.
3 hits in total so far today for New Pal. 5 base runners. A couple of walks have been earned as well. With the home run, New Pal avoids being shut out. That is something that they have not had happen to them all season long. Outside corner strike.
Yeah, I don't know this for sure, but I would bet you would have to go back to perhaps a tournament game somewhere along the line the last few years. Regional, semi-state where, you're facing really good teams and really good pitchers where you may get shut out.
Sectional game against Roncalli last year would be the last time. And the young lady in the circle would be the contributor to that. Yep. Yeah. Counted 0-2. Oliver with a lay off of that one as that one never really threatened the zone.
And take you back a little bit on the baseball side. Roncalli, New Palestine. John Wirtz used to be the head baseball coach at Roncalli, longtime coach, and had a lot of success. And at the time, New Palestine had a freshman pitcher by the name of Andrew Clark, and I know Wordy more than once said, when is that kid going to graduate? He's like, we can't beat that kid. I mean, no matter what we do and how hard we try.
The count goes to 3-2. In fact, the last 2 years, the postseason run has ended for New Pal at the hands of Rothrock in shutout fashion. 4-0 2 years ago, 10-0 last year. Oliver has worked this from 0-2 to a full count. Made contact here, but that'll reach the screen, and we'll do it again. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my buddy Craig Moore, who's the assistant principal here at New Pal, just named as the girls basketball coach at New Pal. Craig and I went to college together. I want to wish him the best of luck next season and beyond. And ball 4. So that's the third walk that a player has drawn from New Pal today. It is the third time that the leadoff runner has gotten on board. And here's Aglaya Rudd.
The catcher, number 12, Aglaya Rudd.
Well, you know, New Pal, obviously very good hitters, very, very patient and selective at the plate here. Rothrock didn't come into the ball game with just 14 walks all season, giving up 3.
And Rudd tattoos that one. Gone. Aglaya Rudd with the second home run of the game. She didn't miss one by much as the leadoff batter. And Rudd makes it 10-3. So still a lot of work to do, but again, this shows you the prowess of this New Pal offense. Rothrock had given up 2 earned runs all year. She's allowed 3 in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, again, and the base on balls ends up being, one of those runs there. But the point I was trying to make is that, when you face good hitters, they're going to draw walks from you because they're going to be very selective and very patient at the plate. And sometimes those guys and gals have a tendency to get around on you and score, and that one did.
So time is called. Music still playing. Now it's done. So Allie Blum to the plate. Blum walked last time up. Thought about trying to bunt her way on.
Yep, had a little idea there.
So still a 7-run cushion, but again, the team like New Pal, when you got such talented bats, you never feel like you're out of the game, even against a pitcher the prowess of Rothrock. But you're also trying to plant a seed for a potential second matchup in the month of June. Count goes to 2-0.
And I'm sure that, regardless of how this one ends up, Coach Markham and his staff will break the game down and say, you know what, if we get a hit there, if we, don't commit an error here, it's 5-3. We're in this game. So I'm sure that's what they'll do. That's what I would do.
Plum sprays that one foul.
A lot of times I didn't even necessarily 100% believe what I was seeing or saying so much as I was just trying to get my players to believe that, this new game is a different situation. That last one's over, and they don't get any extra runs, and we don't get any extra outs. We start from the beginning.
Strike called. 2-2. Change up. Contact to right field. Right fielder drifting over and just kind of lost that in terms of either the sun or trying exactly where the fence was down the right field line, and Blum will get another shot.
I think it was all that. I think the sun impacted it. The wind kind of took it a little bit deeper maybe than she was anticipating, and really ultimately not even really close to the ball.
Foul ball. Couldn't stop the swing in time. Count it 2-2. And full count.
Again, just a disciplined hitter here. They're not going to get themselves out. You're going to have to get them out.
Turns on this one. Smacks on the left field line. That's for a base hit. And Blum will hustle into second base. That's a double. So New Pal not going away quietly.
And you said earlier, still got a little bit of a ways to go. But, again, if you're Coach Markham, you got to be very, very excited about this.
Well, now you've got 9 outs left to go. You haven't recorded an out here in the bottom half of the 5th. That's in for a strike.
Well, Coach used to say, we're nowhere near where we need to be, but thankfully we're nowhere near where we used to be, which was 10-0 at one point.
Swing and a miss. Counted 0-2.
Just kind of blew it past her there. Got to shorten it up and be a little bit quicker.
And frankly, for Rothrock, this is beneficial too, because you are so unused to pitching through any adversity whatsoever. This will benefit her as well. Allen got away from the catcher. Blum hustles down to third base. Now, frankly, a ground ball would likely score a run here for the Dragons.
Yeah, technically the Royals could trade outs for runs and still win, so.
Mumah walking a strikeout her last time up. Pops this one up and we'll do it again at 1-2.
Really good at bats here, these last few hitters for New Pal. No surprise, it starts with Sydney Oliver and then goes around to 1, 2, 3, but really forced Rothrock to pitch here.
Popped up again. New Pal has scored at least 5 runs in every game this year. So file that away as we're sitting here at 10-3. Turns on this one. Left fielder looks up. I think that one's going to go foul, and it does. But you are seeing some head turns after a Rothrock pitch that people are not accustomed to seeing.
Just a really, really good at bat here.
Mumah will play at Southern Indiana next year. He's been rock solid at second base in tonight's game. Change up that Mumah lays off of. Count it 2-2.
A lot of respect shown there by Rothrock there for Mumah. And then, what, I can't just blow it past her here. She keeps fouling off my pitches. So I'm going to try to trick her. I'm going to try to fool her unless it doesn't fall for it.
Fastball misses low, full count. And 3 walks have been drawn. One of those just come around to score in Oliver.
9th pitch of the at-bat here. Again, it's about just being a pest and battling. Not so much pitch count.
Turns on that one off the hands. Will get it down for a base hit. Runner will score. So make it 4 for New Pal and 3 in the inning. And the first 4 batters have reached without an out recorded by Roncalli. Give Mumah the RBI, her 20th of the season.
The third baseman, number 11, Paige Ernst.
And just a little thing there, but I like what Allie Blum did. That ball was probably not going to be caught, but she immediately went back to third base just in case it was caught. She could be tagged up and ready to go.
And David Lau going to come out and have a chance to talk with his star hurler. They're also going to make a move, I think, in right field as well.
You're going to see Blum here, just ball's hit, very alertly says, you know what, just in case somebody does make a diving catch, I'm going to get back down. And if the ball gets down, then I can score easily, and you see she scores standing up. So I'm going to guess perhaps that the right fielder is going to go get warmed up here maybe.
Well, it's just what I was taking a look at it doing in terms of the pitchers for Roncalli that have thrown other than Rothrock have been Baker, the freshman, and Clark, the junior, as in Avery Clark. Clark has thrown 20 innings this year. Baker has thrown 10. And it's Avery Clark that is warming up.
Well, she's getting loose down there. She's kind of stretching right now, but eventually they'll get somebody with the gear on, and I'm sure she'll start. Here we go. Yep.
Your attention, please, into the game defensively. Number 18, Natalie Summers.
So Fagan is starting to get ready. Fagan's actually catching down there is what she's doing. So Clark is the one that is loosening. Ground ball. That will get through for a base hit. Runner will hold at second. So Ernstus, after a home run last inning, with a single here. And the first 5 New Pal batters have reached.
The designated player.
That's Kayla Bain.
Yeah, this Dragon team just refuses to go away.
Well, I don't think it's too great of a stretch to say you are seeing the best pitcher in the state against the best hitting team in the state. Even if the average for Roncalli is a bit higher. And quite the prodigious group offensively for some time here at New Pal. Bain is 0 for 2. Popped up to the second baseman last time. Lays off of that one. And the count goes to 2-0.
Really, the Dragon hitters have all been fairly good at staying off that pitch. That's been just at the top of the zone all day. And they've stayed off more of them than they've swung and missed at.
Bain couldn't do that one.
as I said, she swings at the exact pitch.
Count at 2-1. I think she just assumed she's going to see more of the plate on a 2-0 pitch, and Rothrock kept it high. This is low and inside, 3-1 the count.
Yeah, sometimes hitters will just be so, wanting to hit that they're like, look, if she lets go of it, I'm swinging.
This one sprayed foul. Down towards the stands, down the right field line.
Nobody out here. You got to freeze on a line drive if you're a Dragon base runner. Certainly don't want to get doubled up on a line drive. Run yourself out of an inning.
Ground ball, foul ball. We'll do it again at 3-2.
Of course, got to move on the ground. That's obvious.
And again, if this gets to Clark, if they have to bring in their relief pitcher, that is quite the accomplishment. Third baseman will go the long way and take the out at first. So Mumon Ernstus advance. Bain retired 5-3. First out of the inning. And here's Engel, who did not hit in this spot last time up. Rosenbaum came in and hit for her.
The center fielder, number 19, Maddie Engel.
Engel, a strikeout victim the first time through. Let's point this out. 9 strikeouts the first 2 trips through the lineup. 4 base hits the third trip through the lineup.
Well, last play, their third baseman, Carly Keller, decided, that ball's taking me in toward home plate, so I'm just going to go across the diamond.
Engel lays off of that one.
The old when in doubt, get an out.
Middle infielders playing back. A ground ball here would score a run. Taken all the way at 2-0. That's middle of the plate for a strike.
Outfielder's playing very deep there. And again, now the wind has shifted just a bit and is kind of blowing directly toward home plate.
Engel chased it. Couldn't lay off the riser. 2-2.
Nice job of climbing the ladder there by Rothrock. If I'm her, I'd probably go right back to a similar pitch in terms of up.
Inside corner, got it. Tailed in. First strikeout of this inning. 10th of the game for Rothrock. That's a big out as there's 2 away. Here's Hershey, who singled her last time up. This is the 8th batter to the plate for New Pal here in the home half of the 5th.
Of course, if there's a positive here now, anything hit to the outfield, you're trying to score 2.
Well, that one straight back. Lewis, the batter that would be due up next if Hershey can keep it going, and that would mean that New Pal would bat around here in the 5th. A little high. 1-1. Liner, second baseman, turns and gets her. Against a lot of teams, that's going to get through for a base hit. Well done at second base for Roncalli by Willis to make the play. But the first 5 batters reach, the first 3 batters score. And it's a lot of work to do, but it's 10-4 now, Roncalli after 5, as you're watching on 9 Star and ISC.
My name is Patty Potty, and I'd like to talk to you about all those kinds of convenience products. People are flushing down the toilet, clogging up our sewer system, and causing expensive repair bills. They might flush down, but they sure don't flush out. Make sure you trash them. Don't flush them, only flush the 3 P's. Pee, poo, and paper. Toilet paper, that is. And remember, no wipes in those pipes.
This important message was brought to you by 9 Star Connect, your water and sewer provider.
To the top of the 6th we go. Greg Rakestraw, Jim Leisure with you on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network. Fagan, Rothrock, and Marcinsick were due up. And there will be Fagan who will hit here. We saw her pulled from right field. And she and the DP have kind of been interchangeable. So Fagan has singled twice and scored twice. And this was 10-0 briefly in the top of the 4th. Then it was 10-1 Roncalli in the top of the 5th with the bases loaded. They do not score a run. New Pal's bats come alive in the home half of the 5th. And still a 6-1 lead for Roncalli, or a 6-run lead, I should say, for Roncalli. But feels a bit different now with New Pal having picked up 4 runs, all of them earned, off of the young woman thought to be the top pitching prospect in the country. 2-0 the count. Ground ball, hard hit. Blum all over it. Fires over to first. And there's one down.
A little advanced scouting there. The Dragon infielders, I'm sure Coach Markham has told them about the speed of some of these players. Fagan, one of the leading base stealers here. Again, don't waste any time. You better get it over there quick.
So here's Rothrock. She'll probably be thinking more about the 2 home runs she has allowed in this game than the home run that she just hit last time she was at the plate. One that hit the top of the berm in center field.
And again, nice job starting with the off-speed pitch.
Again, solid contact, and Mumaw couldn't play that one. Every time that Rothrock has hit it, she has hit it hard. Hopefully, umpire going to make sure that Mumaw at second base is okay. She says, I'm fine. More frustration, pick that ball off the hop than be concerned with her well-being here.
Yeah, she had one shot at it, and obviously it didn't happen. But
Courtesy rain at first base, number 11, Anna Dresser.
did notice that first base coach for Roncalli gives the young lady Rothrock a piece of candy. Apparently, if you get a base hit or a good shot there, you get a piece of candy. Nothing works better than a well-placed bribe, apparently.
Hop to home plate. You don't think it's for hitting the player? She gets a piece of candy?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I hope not. I hope we're at a bounty gate here. Is this, former Saint defensive coordinator Greg Williams at first base? Or
sprayed foul. Now, I bring that up because I may or may not have been on a high school tennis team where if you hit somebody off of a bounce, maybe there was a Coke that was involved as a reward for something along those lines. I think I'm past the statute of limitations for getting in trouble in that since I'm approaching a 30-year reunion in the not-too-distant future. Count it 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm still on the 43-year plan here at New Palestine High School. I probably
in terms of graduating,
okay. Yeah, I still have a couple of years before I really want to commit to a GED.
Unpaid library books?
Well, there were incidents.
Fouled back. Marsensic. 1 for 3 today. Singleton scored back in the second. At the starting shortstop. Change up and a beauty. They'll throw behind the runner. There's 2 down. That's the second time that Hurst has found that change up to fool a Roncalli batter.
Catcher, number 16, Henry Meek.
Well, this is the second time through now for the batters that she has faced.
There's a big bag of candy there, man. I can get in trouble with that right there. Although it looks like there may be some fruit in there, so I'm out.
Here's Meek. Meek has reached all 3 times in different ways. Fielder's choice. An error and a run scored. And then singled her last time up. Looks like the JV game that started after this one has already come to its conclusion. Those players starting to make their way back towards the bleachers and stands here for the varsity game. Outside corner hit that time. 2-2 the count.
Going to guess maybe they didn't have 14 runs scored in that game, and that's perhaps why it got over a little bit earlier.
And this one lifted down the right field line. I think we're in need of some fresh softballs here is the reason for the momentary delay.
I did notice earlier that fans were doing a nice job of getting those bright neon yellow softballs back in. A couple of them were just kind of thrown almost like Wrigley Field when the opposing team hits a home run. Somebody just kind of threw it onto the field during play. It's like, well, we don't have to go. We're not in that big of a hurry.
Count it 2-2. Did she offer? I think she did. Yep, no, you need even to ask. Home plate umpire says she went. That's that. This one will go the distance today. So we go to the bottom half of the 6th, and again, 6 runs and 6 outs to work with if you are New Pal. And Lewis, Oliver, and Rudd, who homered her last time up. And as the trio of players do up for Coach Markham's squad.
A good replay there. It looked to me like she did go. Or whatever metric you use, whether it's the bat crossing the front of the plate or the front hip, both of those were compromised. So as you see it again, nice replay.
Could be some substitutions here. Looks like we're going to see Jersey Gross come to bat here for New Pal. Maybe leading off in what was Lewis's spot, and there was a pinch hitter that was used in that position the last time up.
So Gross will bat here, and look like the home plate umpire indicated to the press box the re-enter signal. So Gross will bat, and Lewis will re-enter in the field.
Jersey Gross batting .267 this year. She has been a frequent courtesy or pinch runner. She's scored 18 times. Has 4 hits. They've all been singles. Reason for the delay is that Meek made the last out of the inning. So it takes a little time to get all the gear back on and get going. Rothrock will take 1 pitch and be ready to go. So Gross, Oliver, and Rudd, the trio of Dragons, due up this time through. Want to take this moment when we have the opportunity. Want to congratulate Ian Stevens. That became public knowledge today, unless you were watching the Hoosier Gym Classic on Saturday. Because when the play-by-play guy knows the player's dad, and the dad tells him, hey, he's accepting a preferred walk-on spot at IU, and I go, hey, can I announce that? And he says, yes, you can. I said, all right. And then Ian elects to announce it on Twitter today. So I feel like I jumped the gun on Saturday, but it's public knowledge now that Ian Stevens is going to play at Indiana University next year. Congratulations, young man.
Well deserved.
That's in for a strike. You know, I think Ian was kind of, debating, do I go play the NAI route or Division III, or do I, take the walk-on spot? And he's going to try his luck with the guys in the Big Ten. There's not a wrong answer there, by the way.
No, there's not. I mean, no matter what you do, you're going to be okay.
And for a strike, 0-2 the count.
I mean, I'm sure that one of the things that I think Ian could do is add some weight. So he's going to go down to the Big Ten, and he's going to have a Big Ten strength coach and nutritionist who will put him on about a 10,000 calorie a day diet and turn it into muscle, and it'll help him.
That misses. 1-2 the count.
And then, of course, while he's working on his game, which that part we know he'll do, and he's done it from the time he was a sophomore. He really dedicated himself. He said, you know what, I think I can be good at this, and really put the work in.
A little high. 2-2. Two different batters in this spot have had a strikeout against Rothrock. Gross is trying to avoid the hat trick. Can't do it, though. That's in there for strike 3. So for Rothrock, that is now 11 Ks in the game. And there's one away.
The right fielder, number 20, Sydney Oliver.
Here's Oliver. Oliver walked and then was able to stroll home if she chose, when Rudd went big fly to the left side of the field last time through. Just off the corner. This marks the 3rd trip to the lineup now for the Dragons.
Rothrock basically leaving everything out and getting intentionally. She's trying to work that outside corner.
Interesting, how you pitch the lefties is always different than how you pitch the righties. The righties, you're always, you think the righties are more predisposed to kind of swinging at those high fastballs. Lefties tend to lay off of those better than the righties do. It's kind of the natural swing plane, the difference in being a right-hander versus a left-handed hitter. That's the advantage you have as a righty, especially in this sport where you're coming underneath instead of over the top.
Correct.
Outside corner against a lefty. Count it 2-1. Missed it again. Oliver has already worked 1 walk and threatened to do that for a 2nd time. Rothrock had 14 walks all season coming in. She's had 3 and 5 1/3 so far. Oliver tried to stop the swing that time. Just couldn't do it in time. And then Rudd, being a catcher, was not fazed by that ball heading her direction.
Not at all.
I got a mask. I'm fine.
Yep, little head bob.
Payoff pitch coming. Strike 3 at the belt. Little change up that time. And again, the change up from Rothrock is faster than most. She took it to kind of cut that one just a little bit. Get it to dip down. 2 away.
And again, it also just, shows again the respect for the hitters, because I'm sure in a normal situation, 9-hole Keegan Rothrock's just going to throw gas and say, look, hit it, I dare you. But she knows she can't do that here.
So Rudd sent one opposite field off the wall in her first at-bat of the game, and then turned on one for her 4th home run of the season. She's 2 for 3, popped up to right field in her lone out, and Rudd asked for time and was granted. And Rudd's going to play in the Horizon League next year at Purdue-Fort Wayne. New Pal has sent players to a variety of schools in that league over the years. I think IUPUI, Northern Kentucky, and now Purdue-Fort Wayne all represented from this program.
In Coach Markham's 20 years, I would love to see one of those pin maps, of the United States.
You need a lot of pins.
Yeah, and just where all, from, Auburn, all kinds of schools in the SEC.
Rudd sends it right back up the box. And it is a select few that can say, I had a 3-hit game on Keegan Rothrock, and she is of that group.
And that ball was absolutely smoked. You're going to see the replay here. Just a real nice job of staying down. Everything, shoulder, eyes.
There aren't a lot of teams that say they had a 3-hit game against Rothrock.
Right.
Glea Rudd did that by her lonesome. Here's Allie Blum. Blum doubled last time. Also worked a walk as well. I was fortunate enough last year. They're going to kind of a delayed move, but now Coach Markham's going to get a runner in for Rudd with 2 down here so she can get the gear back on. I was fortunate enough last year to do the Horizon League softball tournament for ESPN+. I don't have that assignment this year. But I would imagine she is a player that will go to that school and play immediately and be an impact player there.
She goes off the field there, goes over and talks to Allie Blum and kind of gives her some tips as to what she saw.
I believe that is Sydney Eubanks that is the runner at first base.
Kersey running at first base. Number 1, Sydney Eubanks.
Eubanks going to join Bain and play at Mount St. Joseph next year at the Division III level. Blum, right field coming in, catch made. Diving effort made in right. That is Summers, who was inserted in right field a bit earlier to make the play, and this time a 0 goes on the board for New Pal. So we go to the top of the 7th. The score remains 10-4 in favor of Roncalli. We'll let this one take you to break as you're watching high school softball. 2 of the top 6 teams in the state playing here on 9 Star and the ISC Sports Network.
Who knew that 9-Star Connect, a local smart utility, has the fastest internet in Indiana? 9-Star offers speeds up to 2 gig. That's upload and download speeds. Try getting that from any other provider. No data limits or caps on speed. The speed you pay for is the speed you get. 9-Star has state-of-the-art fiber optics with a dedicated line to each house. 9-Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet. Who knew?
So Roncalli leading 10-4. Going to the top of the 7th. Willis, Summers, Blackwell, the trio due up for David Laux, Roncalli Royals. I slipped and said Rebels one time. You have coached at Roncalli previously, correct?
No, Chittard.
Chittard.
Coached
okay.
against Roncalli many times.
I served 4 years as the voice of Roncalli football. So trust me, that was muscle memory for me not getting to say the new nickname over the last couple of years.
It's all I can do to not do it.
Willis lifts that one foul. Well, again, it's 10-4, and this is the second ranked team in the state versus 6. So, New Pal had stopped being in the moral victory business a long time ago.
Right.
But you've pitched 2 freshmen. You've had 2 batters hit home runs off of Rothrock. And again, there's a lot of ground to cover, and there's good teams in front of New Pal. But the hope is you get back to Roncalli at some point in time in the postseason run, and there are things you can take from this one. Even if this turns out to be your 3rd loss of the season, you go, okay, hey, we're not that far away from these guys.
Oh, without question. Again, you start with the leadoff double by Aglaya Rudd probably should have been a triple because Coach Markham was bringing her to third and she just didn't pick it up in time. So then you say, okay, we got a base. Should have had a runner on third base. We don't get a run there. But if we do, it's 10-5. Then you can start going back to just some of the goofy errors that you made defensively, and you say, take away those runs, those 2 runs, that run, and now it's 6-5.
That one gets to right field. Player hustling down the line, and again, that's heads up by both sides. Right fielder, all of them's charging, thinking, I've got to play at first base. Willis acknowledged that, was flying down the line. And it's a leadoff single for Roncalli.
That's not uncommon to see a hitter go to the right field here and kind of start celebrating a little bit early, admiring the nice shot, and then get themselves tossed out by a step at first base by an alert right fielder.
Summers, who made that great diving effort in right field, fouls that one straight back.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, technically, Roncalli really doesn't need any more runs, but Coach David Locke would like to get a couple. This has been a weird game for his squad as well.
Swing and a miss.
Great changeup again. Good pitch. Does appear as if Aglaya Rudd is looking into the dugout for the pitch call.
Ground ball. Get one. Had to apply the tag, and she didn't do it. Couldn't hang on to the ball. And that's the right play by Hershey. Take the sure thing. Get the out at first. Blum just couldn't hang on to it.
Yeah, no, without question. I mean, again, ball was hit hard, so you're going to get one, and then everybody in the building should be yelling, tag, 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 tag. Now, one thing she can do is step one way in, either toward the infield or toward the outfield, and improve her angle, because I think she still had plenty of time. As New Pal rotates the infield to third there on the bunt.
No error on that because you get the out, so you're not going to have an error. That's really not a fielder's choice.
Well, it's a tough throw. Again, you're throwing right at the runner, so you got to improve that angle. Take one step either way, and then just throw a strike, and I still think you got her.
Here's Blackwell, who singled the last 2 times up. She is 2 for 4. This marks the 5th trip through the lineup for Roncalli.
We did talk about that earlier, Greg, as well, is that, again, if you normally you get 4 at bats if you're batting 1, 2, 3, and 4 somewhere in there. But if you can get a few runs, then you get that 5th at bat, and that's exactly what we're experiencing here with Blackwell.
To the count of 3-0. Taken all the way. It's in for a strike.
Sure, if Coach Lauk had the take sign on there, and I think he did, he's taking it off here. He's going to let his leadoff hitter take a whack at something here.
And ball 4. The second one of those that Hurst has issued, and her time in the game, she came in the top of the 4th. She has yet to allow a run.
Number 20, Carly Keller.
Again, in a weird way, she's pitched well. There's been a lot of base runners. There's been a lot of pressure, but she's actually pitched pretty well.
We're going to have a conversation here. First with coach and home plate umpire more than anything else. And you would assume a conversation with coach and pitcher will commence after that. And the one pitcher for New Pal is Studi. And she's been solid. She's been pretty good so far this year. The numbers between her and the younger of the Eubanks and Sadie have been similar, except for the number of innings thrown. Far more for Studi. But again, Studi is a dual sport athlete. Well, track and field and softball. Pretty congenial conversation that time between Coach Markham and Tony Greer, home plate umpire.
Do you think he was asking him if he's been to Smoking Barrel Barbecue?
He'd save that for after the game, I would think.
That's a good question.
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
It's always a good question to ask. That's in for a strike.
I like the way just you see the rotation of the infielders on the bunt. Third baseman's going to charge, so shortstop's got to cover third with the runner on second base, and just I like to watch that good fundamental rotation.
Keller hit one on a rope to angle and center last time up. Tries to lay this one down. Ernstus over to first base because she was playing in. There's no play at third or second. Again, you take the out in that scenario. Well done. Runners advance, 2 down.
When in doubt, get an out.
So here's Hoffman. Hoffman struck out with the bases loaded last time up. Before that, she has doubled twice, scored twice, and driven in 2.
Good shot on the replay there, that defensive rotation we were talking about.
And Rudd wants to go out and just make sure that she and Hurst are on the same page. Because, frankly, Hurst has been primarily throwing on the JV, so those two have not worked together all that much. So just a quick reminder and word of encouragement.
Just say this is what we want to do here. This is how we want to attack this hitter. This is how we want to set her up. Let's do it.
Well, that wasn't the idea.
Nope.
Smacked one, and runner was holding. Now Hoffman going to try to get to second base, and Hurst was focused on the runner at third. So Hoffman has a 3-hit day. She's got 3 runs batted in, and it's 11-4. That's the first run that Hurst has allowed, and now 3+ innings of work.
Yeah, probably as the ball gets bobbled here in center field by Maddie Engel there. Again, Coach Locke probably, if he had it over to do over again, he would have sent the runner. That would have easily scored.
And I will be texting Scott Fleming on the way home and saying you have yourself a whale of a ball player in Hoffman that is heading your way. Marion 40-6 going into today's conference tournament game in the Crossroads League. Hop to home plate, 2-0 the count. Here's Fagan. Ground ball to second last time up. When she's hit the ball to the right side all 4 plate appearances. 2 ground balls to second base and 2 base hits to right field. Sends it that way as well again on the foul ball. 2-1 the count.
Tried to spray it that way. Center fielder Engel is playing her just slightly. Well, no, she's going to walk back to the left field side of the second base bag.
Ground ball up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit. Both runners get the wave around this time. Throw comes home, not in time. Fagan hustling out a second behind the play, and now 13-4.
Well, there's those 2 runs I said they really didn't need, but would certainly take.
So now Rothrock comes up. So Fagan, much like Hoffman, has a 3-hit afternoon. And they're just going to walk Rothrock here with the base empty.
Yeah, it sets up a lot of things. Obviously, takes the bat out of the hand of a really, really good hitter, but it also sets up a force at any base.
And I'm not so sure in this scenario if David Locke says, I'm fine with that.
Oh, yeah.
You mean you understand the strategy behind it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But secondarily, I'm not sure I need my pitcher to take one more swing today.
Yeah,
just head to the dugout.
Run the risk of pulling a hamstring or something like that.
So Dressman comes in to run. Marcicek comes in there.
Not bad. Shortstop, number 5. Lauren Marcicek.
Marcicek struck out last time. She's 1 for 4. This is the 3rd time now that she has faced Hurst. Good job by the third baseman. Ernst just picks it, fires it over to Hershey, and the inning is over. But Roncalli stretches that lead by 3 more. It's now 13-4. Muma, Ernstus, and Bain, the trio due up this time through for New Pal. So 8 come to the plate that inning. 3 runs allowed by Hurst in her varsity debut. Again, next time we'll see these New Pal Dragons is next Thursday at Legends Field at Pendleton. Pendleton does have 1 conference loss. That was Shelbyville early in the season.
New Pal was able to get over the Golden Bears. So, again, if Pendleton has any shot at it, they got to beat New Palestine.
You see where those teams are ranked. And the 4A rankings have been very fluid this year because, frankly, A, the top teams all play each other, and B, they've all kind of taken turns getting wins against one another as well. But as per usual, the southern half of the draw is absolutely loaded. And again, let's speak to the point of, in this league, you've got Pendleton Heights and New Pal, which are top 10 every year. Shelbyville has become a recent softball power as well. Greenfield Central has improved. Mount Vernon, they made a semi-state run a couple of years ago. This league is really good, and You get schools like Yorktown and Delta, while their records aren't sterling, when they get to the 3A tournament,
correct,
they're off to the races because of the quality teams they play on a regular basis in this league.
It wasn't that long ago. I don't know how long ago it was that New Palestine played Yorktown in the state championship, 3A state championship. So Yorktown can play a little softball too.
It's either 18 or 19, I believe. No, that's I think I was up there that day when it happened. It's in for a strike. You may find this funny because I can't be everywhere at one time. As I try.
I'm going to say it seems like you are.
But unfortunately, because of what I do with the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Series, I have missed the softball state finals the last few years. As Muma sends this one out to left field, and she is retired for just the second time today, and there's one away.
Just missed that thing. I mean, again, it was good contact. It wasn't great contact. Just missed that.
So here's Ernstus.
Number 11, Paige,
Ernstus. Solo blast in the fourth that got New Pal on the board. And a single last time up as well for the verbal Mississippi State. Ernstus is a junior. Change up in for a strike.
She's 2 for 3 as well. You mentioned earlier that Aglaya Rudd had 3 hits.
Yep.
This is Paige's opportunity to duplicate that.
And if these two teams were to see each other again, it would be in the semi-state. Roncalli remains in sectional number 11. New Pal is rotated back to sectional number 9. And the way that it works is that you are in softball, say if you win sectional 9, you play the winner of sectional 10. If you're Roncalli, you win sectional 11, you play the winner of sectional 12. And this year, the odd-numbered sectionals host a regional game. So both these two teams, if they were to win their sectional, would host regional contests as well. Count it 1 and 2. Ernstus, I think, able to hold off on that one. Yeah, they'll ask, but I don't think she went. Nope. 2 and 2.
You know, I have not been to Roncalli's facility in a long, long time, Greg. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it's quite this nice, but it may be nice.
It's solid. Count it 2 and 2. Change up, strike 3. And New Pal down to a final out. It's Bain that will get one more crack at one of the top pitchers in the country.
Designated player, number 26, Kayla Bain.
Bain 0 for 3 today.
Pitch right there across the front knee and then drops back behind. You know, makes it look like the pitch was low, but I do think it crossed the front knee.
You and I doing the exact same time. 14 strikeouts today for Rothrock. Once you get past fingers and toes, you and I get in trouble.
I was going to say, I must have went to Our Lady. We don't count so good because I only have 13, but I don't know.
You said 13?
Yeah.
I think you're right, 13. This one, shallow right. Summers makes the play, and the game is over. 13-4, Roncalli gets another victory. It is their 14th of the season. New Pal loses for the first time since April the 13th. They fall to 11-3. Jim, your final thoughts on this one?
Just an odd game in a lot of different ways. You don't expect Rothrock to give up as many walks as she did. Credit the New Pal hitters. Credit the Roncalli hitters, though, for putting 13 on the board. Again, the 2 freshman pitchers for New Pal pitched fairly well for the score being what it was. This one, though, like you said, is probably just a precursor to the one in the semi-state.
There are not many teams that can say this. Roncalli now has a 4-game winning streak against New Pal. And again, they are in the same section the last 2 years. That's not the case this year. Frankly, these two hope they get back to see each other by the time they get to the first weekend in June. Make sure you join us next Tuesday night for our next 9-Star Sports broadcast. Again, that's Mount Vernon and Greenfield in baseball. John Herrick and Jim Leisure have that one for you. For Jim and our entire 9-Star crew, this is Greg Rakestraw. Good night from New Pal. Royals win this one going away on 9-Star and ISC.